You are listening to the Rewards Canada podcast.
Hello, and welcome to episode 88 of the Rewards Canada podcast. I never thought I would be making a podcast episode about BMO almost exactly 1 year after we debuted episode 77, which was titled BMO, What Are You Doing? But here we go with BMO, What Are You Doing Part 2. Or maybe I should pay homage to the 80s spoof movie Hot Shots and call it BMO, What Are You Doing Part 2. Anyways, let's get down to business and find out why BMO is in the spotlight again here on the Rewards Canada podcast. First, let's quickly recap what transpired a year ago. BMO announced a bunch of changes to their cards, both on the travel side and the cashback side. The cashback cards, it was good for the most part, but for the proprietary BMO Rewards card portfolio, the travel side of things got devalued. This came only a few years after their last devaluation in the program, but the biggest sticking point with the 2021 changes was them announcing them only a few short months after the release of their brand new Eclipse Visa cards. It's like, hey, check out our new cards, come apply for it, and now we're going to change it on you, suckers. Never ever had we seen a program devalue something within 6 months of it being launched. It was actually even less when it was announced. I think it was like 3 months, and then the actual changes took place 6 months after, and BMO did just that. And here's the thing, those Eclipse cards when launched weren't the best to begin with anyways, and BMO made them even worse. If you have read what I've written or spoken about in podcasts, the Eclipse cards, you know exactly what I think. And I've said it right from the start. These were the first premium and ultra premium cards in the Canadian market to award less than a 1% return on their base spending. When they came out, it was something like 0.71% or something like that. And then a few months later, that gets brought down to a measly 0.67%. Can you imagine spending $499 a year on a card? And yes, I know you get a $200 annual credit. So let's say, can you imagine spending $299 a year on a card and only earning a 0.67% base return? Yes, the cards have accelerators, but so does most of the competition, and they still award 1% back on base spending, whether the card costs $120 or $699. They're all giving you at least 1%. Anyways, that change in 2021 also affected the BMO World Elite Mastercard, which is by far the best card offered from BMO. But since those changes were to the BMO Rewards program overall, that card was affected as well. The move to requiring 150 points for $1 towards travel from 140 to 1 meant this card's effective rate of return became 1.33% to 2% depending on your category spending. That was still a respectable rate of return and a base earn rate double that of the Eclipse Visa cards. And that brings us to 2022. Early in February 22, that is, and JoshNet on Twitter alerts us to the news about several changes coming to the aforementioned BMO World Elite Mastercard. And these changes will take effect on May 3rd of this year. The first change to the card is the naming of the card. The BMO World Elite Mastercard is being renamed the BMO Ascend World Elite Mastercard. That's the new name as of May 3rd. No biggie, just a different name. I think to better line it up with the other products, namely the Eclipse Visas. So I wonder if the next thing they'll do is give fancier names to their cashback cards or maybe to their bank account products as well next. Who knows? So that's easy enough, a name change. But now we get to the part of the podcast, which is truly why we're asking BMO, what are you doing? And that's the earn rate changes. And these also take place when the card updates on May 3rd. This is the area of concern with the newly revamped card. BMO is changing the earn rates on the card. 2 accelerated categories do actually get better. Some others stay the same. And the base earn rate, well, let's just say BMO took the axe to it. So you might say, well, 2 are better and only 1 worse, so it can't be that bad, can it? Well, it really depends on your spending habits. Currently, the card as it sits, it earns 3 BMO rewards points for every dollar spent on travel, dining, and entertainment purchases, and then 2 BMO rewards points for every dollar spent everywhere else. And then as of May 3rd, these new rates will be changing. You're going to earn 5 times the points for every dollar spent on travel, 3 for every dollar on dining and entertainment, 3 on recurring bill payments, and this includes streaming services, phone bills, memberships, things like that, and then 1 point for $1 everywhere else. Okay, so right off the bat, travel is getting better. 5 points per dollar, that's pretty sweet. Well, if you want to get technical, it's the equivalent of 3.34 points per dollar or a 3.34% return. And that's thanks to that 150 points towards $1 of travel redemption rate. I'm not going to go into huge details here. Rather, I'm going to provide a link on our podcast page, rewardscanada.ca/podcast, and in the YouTube description to our article from last year that still covers the whole gamut of this. And it's called When Earning 5 Times Points Isn't the Same as Earning 5 Times Points, a Loyalty Lesson. That article goes into great depth on this subject, and it was actually BMO that triggered that article last year. Anyways, to get a 3.34% return back on travel spending is pretty sweet. However, those 5 times points that work out to 3.34% are capped at $15,000 in spending annually. That kind of surprised me. The people who you're trying to appeal with a high earn rate on travel are going to be those who spend a lot on travel and easily spend way more than $15,000 per year in that category. I know pre-pandemic, the Rewards Canada family spent much more than that on travel each year. So, to cap it that low, I don't know. But anyways, that's travel. What about the other earn rates? Dining and entertainment. So those remain at 3 points per dollar, or the equivalent of a 2% return. And now recurring bills have been added to that category, which means those move up from 2 points per dollar to 3 points. So that's your two categories that move up are travel and recurring bills. These are nice additions to the card, but they're not a game changer because there's a big caveat. The 3 times dining and entertainment are capped at $10,000 per year, and so are recurring bills. $10,000 per category, that is. But still, the card right now, before May 3rd, has a $50,000 cap across multiple categories. So if you were making lots of dining and entertainment purchases, say $20,000, $25,000 a year, you would get the higher earn rate on all of that. Now, you only get it for $10,000. Your other $10,000, $20,000 on top of that, if you were spending that much, you're going to earn the 1 point per dollar or 0.67%. So you have a lot lower cap on these categories, which is really just curbing your potential earn. But then finally, the biggest piece on the earn rates of the BMO What Are You Doing pie is the rest of the spending on this card. And this is what just kills the card. The base earn rate is being cut in half to 1 point per dollar, down from 2. That means a 0.67% return on all your other spending. Now this matches the Eclipse cards. And I've said this since BMO launched those cards late in 2020, that no premium card should have a base earn rate below 1%. Yet now with this latest change, BMO has 3, count it, 3 premium cards with a 0.67% base earn rate. That's absolutely atrocious. I would never pay $120, or in this case for the World Elite Mastercard, Ascend Mastercard, a $150 annual fee on a card that can't give me a 1% base earn rate. Think about Costco. BMO used to push it so much. Use your card at Costco. You can use your card at Costco. You're going to earn 0.67% at Costco with this card. Compare this to other cards. HSBC's World Elite Mastercard, 1.5% at Costco. The Brim World Elite Mastercard, 2% at Costco. There's tons of cards that were going to earn you 1%, 1.25%, 1.5%, all the way to 2% at Costco, but this card is not one of them. So this is such a big clip to the base earn rate, and that's what makes this card so much worse. Well, that and the lower caps are in place. That $50,000 across all categories was nice. You weren't limited. You could spend lots on your dining. You could spend lots on your entertainment. Go out and buy thousands of dollars of seasons tickets or whatever you wanted to buy. That is capped now. And now your overall cap is $45,000, but that's broken down into 4 specific categories. So, it's really tough. You're not going to be earning as many points if you're a big spender on this card. And this is really unfortunate on BMO's part. This card was BMO's last holdout in Rewards Canada's top travel credit card rankings. It was hanging on to 5th spot in the travel points with annual fee category. And unless some other cards do some major negative changes this year, 2023 will mark the first year that we do not have a BMO card in any of our rankings. Travel, all the subcategories in travel, or cashback. This is, it's really sad to see BMO do this, actually. They used to have such a good portfolio of cards and such good rewards, and they've just taken away and taken away and taken away. They're not the only ones taking away, but they have taken away so much compared to others. And I honestly don't think BMO is going to attract a lot of new customers to this Ascend card, at least those who do their research. But you know who I really feel bad for are those who do have this card right now, as BMO is ultimately cloaking this card as something better to those existing card holders, while for the most part they're just taking away from those customers and adding more to their bottom line. It's these existing customers who are taking the brunt of this. But it also brings me to their questionable, or as mentioned by one of our followers, infuriating and twisted marketing tactics. We've discussed this so much over the past year and a bit. The tactics that BMO is using to attract new customers, and such is the case again here with this card. BMO claims on the landing page that the Ascend card has the highest rewards points for travel of any premium card in Canada. And we honestly take exception to that. It's true, no other card awards 5 points per dollar, but there is one that awards 6 points per dollar, the HSBC World Elite Mastercard. So BMO can't just mean points earning, can they? It sure seems that way if you read their disclaimer. And here's their disclaimer. Statement based on a comparison of the non-promotional travel rewards points on premium flexible Canadian credit cards as of February 1st, 2022. Flexible is defined as points earned when you purchase travel anywhere, and premium refers to cards with an annual fee of less than or equal to $150 or has an annual income requirement of less than or equal to $150,000 annual individual income. So it strictly says points earned when you purchase travel anywhere with an annual fee of equal to or less than $150. Well, the HSBC card's $149, and it also falls below the income requirements. And BMO makes no claim to the actual value of the points in the disclaimer, so this can be very misleading. I feel that if they update the claim to read something like earn and redeem value, then they can make that claim, since BMO's 5 times points are worth 3.34 cents, and HSBC's 6 times points are worth 3 cents. So, there's, again, very questionable marketing tactics on BMO's part. It's like their whole push of the 5 times points when the Eclipse cards came out. Now, it wasn't BMO who started this. TD did this years ago. We've covered that before on the podcast and on our site. But again, really, really infuriating, as mentioned by our readers, that they go this route and they're saying it's like the highest earning travel card out there. That's really debatable. And, and that brings me to that disclaimer of them picking less than or equal to $150 for an annual fee. You can tell that they specifically set that amount so they could avoid comparison to Amex's Cobalt card, since it is $155.88 per year and is a big competitor to this card. Even though the Cobalt card only earns 2 points per dollar on travel, but if you redeem those via Amex's fixed points chart, it provides up to a 4% return, which is higher than Ascend's 3.34%. In fact, most of the fixed point chart, I think you'd be getting between 3.5% to 4% returns. So, that's where that disclaimer of $150 or lower knocks the Cobalt card out of their comparison. But, for most people, $5.88 more per year for a card that earns a heck of a lot more points, a lot more flexibility, that's the way to go. So to sum it up, if you get a couple of increased earn rates, sum it up, you get a couple of increased earn rates on the card, but those are heavily offset negatively by the new lower annual caps in those categories and that dreaded 0.67% base earn rate. Honestly, this card has officially been devalued once again. And I want to wrap up this podcast episode by saying it was nice to finally see some other blogs and sites call BMO out on this change. Even those that are big affiliate partners of BMO couldn't hold back this time. And I'm glad, because they've all propped up BMO's Eclipse products and some of the other products, making them seem so good. And here I felt like a lone wolf telling it how it really was with those cards. And I make no qualms about it. Rewards Canada is also an affiliate partner of BMO, but I'm not going to push a product on our readers when there are better choices. But I do want to send a thank you to the likes of Credit Card Genius and Milesopedia for calling them out on this change. I do feel they went a little easy on BMO, but at least they said something. And the best of the bunch, I loved Prince of Travel's title. The BMO World Elite Mastercard ascends, but not really. That made me laugh. And of course, you have red flag deals. No BS there, and no positivity in the thread on this card's changes. They tell it how it is. And that's all she wrote for this podcast. Thank you again for tuning in to the Rewards Canada podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, and be sure to help spread the word of it so that we can keep bringing you the best loyalty rewards content in Canada. Share the podcast, hit the like button, leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform, and so on. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. The Rewards Canada podcast is produced in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, with music produced by Regina's own TWKOP.